So today in the booth, we got Ryan from Exhale Smoke Shop with us, man. How you feeling?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Man, regular activities. I appreciate you for coming through, man.
100%.
So, where are you from for the people who don't know?
So, I was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
Moved around a little bit after about 10 years old. Lived in Maryland for a couple years, upstate New York.
Oh, you've been traveling?
Yeah, moved around a little bit as a kid. Just, obviously family shit, Didn't really have much of a choice most of the time.
Facts.
But ever since I've been 20 years old, lived in California.
Okay. Sac the whole time, or?
No. Again, I've been all over.
Yeah, up and down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I started in Pasadena.
Okay.
And then lived there for a couple years and moved over to Venice Beach.
You got to see a lot of LA.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of moved to a couple different areas down in LA, and then started growing up in Grass Valley, a number of years later, and then kind of from there made my way to Sac.
So, what's like the difference you feel like between Northern California and Southern California?
Well, Sacramento specifically is just like it's a big little city.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The most diverse, I think.
Yeah, 100%. It really is. LA, in my opinion, is just crazy. It's big. There's so many sub-cities inside of LA that it's just a lot going on, you know what I mean? And
Facts.
You don't really get that, or I don't really feel like that in Sacramento as much,
Most definitely,
It's kind of easier to keep your finger on the pulse.
Mm-hmm. So I always say Sacramento is so small.
Yeah.
Like, if from here to the south, like, it's 10, 15 minutes, you know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And you're like 30, 40 minutes in LA.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy. So, what made you settle down in Sacramento?
I don't know, once we left LA, again, it just kind of went from the crazy mentality. I lived down on Venice Beach for a number of years, so I'm really like that fast pace.
Right.
But just family life, I knew I was gonna want to have kids, and so
Settle
I think it was just, I definitely knew I didn't want to raise kids in LA.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, nothing bad about LA. It's just, there's a lot of people. And,
not a good place to live.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So Sacramento, I think just kind of came as a default because it was close to where I was up in Grass Valley, or fairly close,
Okay.
Yeah, it was chill. Came down here, lived down here for a couple years before we opened the business, and yeah, just kind of really liked it,
How was it living on Venice Beach or around Venice Beach?
Oh, I mean, if you've ever seen TV or you ever watched Cops or anything like that, you know the vibes. Yeah, exactly. It's always crazy, whether it's bum fights or people stealing shit or just super chill people too. You know what I mean? Like, I met tons of cool people down there. It's just from every walks of life.
I know there's a lot of street performers and shit down there too.
I mean, the arts. It gets back into the arts. We do a lot of arts at Exhale, and
art means function.
Yeah, exactly. So it's it is all down there. Everything is down there. If you're looking for it, you can find it. Good, bad, ugly, doesn't matter.
Speaking of art, tell us a little about Exhale. I know you guys are downtown, 2830 East Street.
Yep.
You guys cracking right now, huh?
Yep.
All the glass, everything you need, glass, no tobacco products.
Yep. I think the craziest part about Exhale is that it wasn't until a little bit later that I realized what date we opened, which was September 2016, which is 916.
Right. That's tight.
Completely on accident, it's just how the cards played out.
That's real love for the city.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? I mean, it's just, if anything, it's a sign,
Meant to be here for
sure. Yeah, Exhale's been awesome. So we're in September, it'll be, what is that, 5 years.
Oh yeah, you guys established now.
Yeah, we're hitting that mark, it's wild, and
it's a long-term relationship, if you ask me.
Crazy, right? I mean, and someone who's not from Sac too, being able to get into the city and stay in the city is crazy to me.
That's a big move.
Yeah. Especially as like a first business, not really knowing what's gonna happen. you know, have a good idea and have a good understanding. But
you did anything else? Like, you said this is your first business, or you did?
So I've done other hustles and stuff.
Right.
Like, I would say my first business, which lasted a couple years, but I did like car detailing and stuff for a while, just kind of hustling down in LA. But that was dope. It was a lot of fun. It was just one of those things that at the time I didn't really want to work for anyone.
Right.
So I was like, I know I could find at least 5 people that'll let me wash their car once a month. You know what I mean? And yeah. I went up to Hollywood and game over. You know, LA. The nice thing about LA is everyone's willing to pay extra to have something done for them.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Because everyone's kind of balling out like that, apparently.
And that's what they say.
That's what they say.
That's they put on.
Exactly. But you know, it keeps the bills paid.
Right. It's better working for yourself, huh?
Hands down, bro.
Yeah.
I tell this story all the time. One of the weirdest things, one of the things that I really liked going from working for other people to working for myself was the first day that we were open, and our big garbage cans all the way behind the store. So you got to like close the store and
go throw
the garbage away. And simple task, you know, something that's not, you know, a crazy idea or anything.
Right.
But just locking the door and being like, looking to the left and right, like, who do I got to tell I'm locking the door right now and how long I'm going to be away?
Yeah.
And
you got to tell yourself.
Right. and I was like, oh shit, that's my call. Just lock that shit up, walking in the back, you know, took my time. You know, obviously you're not trying to make people wait, but but just mentality wise, you know, it was
felt good.
It was weirdly rewarding.
Right. To know you the boss.
That's dope, 100%.
So is it just you down there, or?
So I had a business partner who passed away about 1.5 years ago. He was a small percentage holder, but yeah, it's just my store.
Okay. Okay. You got any employees down there?
So one employee right now, Torin. He holds us down on the weekends. T-Ski, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
He's a perfect dude for the job. Period.
Facts.
Period. Yeah, I've been talking to that dude for a couple years, just waiting to get him on board until the time was right, and it's been a perfect move. So, yeah.
When did you get into like the rapper world?
See, that's the crazy thing about Exhale is I kind of really stumbled into that. You know, kind of goes back to our slogan where art meets function. When we first opened, because I'm not from the city, you know, my one question myself was, you know, how do I get a community to support me? And the simple answer was support your community, you know. And we have a pretty good amount of floor space that's unused. You know, we have a lot of open space at Exhale. So the idea from the beginning was, hey, let's just reach out to people in our community, or as people reach out to us in the community,
just build off of that.
Start building off that. So really what we did is we started with art shows. So and it's been a huge part of our success in the city, I believe. Just because it's a constant group of people that are coming into Exhale,
right? Not
under like a sales pitch, you know what I mean, per se.
They're coming to see something.
They're coming to see something. They're coming here to support their friend, or, you know, a friend's friend, or to buy some art, or to do this and that. So as that kind of went on, I think about 1 year later, a couple artists, D-Rec, Chewy, yeah, exactly. So a couple people, his mom, MC Red, yeah, they hit me up and they were like, hey, we really want to do, you know, a show, get a couple other people. You got a perfect little space that we could do some music. And I was like, you know what, let's run it, you know, and did it. And, you know, a couple others after that, like California Steez does a Steez Timber event. We had a little stage in there. It looked really dope, and it was really fun. People really...
Sacramento versus everybody.
100%. Yeah, and people really enjoyed themselves, you know? And so I think, getting back to your original question, I think it just kind of stumbled upon it is the final answer, you know? It was just something that progressed.
It was supposed to happen.
100%. I'm not an art critic. I'm just a dude who owns a smoke shop that is trying to let people use this space. So as people approach me, I really, there's no like background check or requirement of let me listen to your music or let me see your art first or, anything like that. It's just like, let's sit down, make a plan. My whole mentality is I prefer just not to do things just to do them.
Right.
So if we're going to do them, let's just do it the right way and makes it easier for everyone, less stress, and then it just works out easy. You don't got to really worry about it,
Right.
But a big part of that really solidified when we started doing Freestyle Friday. Right? Shout out Freestyle Friday. So with Freestyle Friday, we had some hip-hop events or hip-hop artists, come and do some shows and things of that nature. And then Freestyle Friday really cemented that to where it's just another avenue where people see Exhale. They see hip-hop events happening, and now I get reached out to more often for, events of that nature. So, like everything else, it's just growth. You meet this guy, and in that event, you meet 5 people, and out of those 5 people that you connect with, a couple of them want to do something, and it just
keeps going.
Yeah, it constantly progresses. So yeah.
Well, how did you keep going when like obstacles appeared in the path? I know it's probably hard running the smoke shop.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, everything for business is financial, right? So it's luckily I've put myself in a position where we're not spread super thin, but we are a small business, and obviously if there's less business during something like COVID, you definitely feel it. But it's also, I'm thankful to say that we never were forced to close.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unlike a lot of these other shops that. Bars and restaurants,
a lot
and
of shit closed.
Man, they told them they couldn't even be open. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know what I would do in that particular scenario for myself. So I'm incredibly thankful for that. Just in a mindset, because even like our neighbors upstairs, they were closed for like 11 months or something, because they don't serve food. They're just an alcohol establishment, and that wasn't allowed. And that's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's really, really, really crazy. I mean, just down, and like, and there's so many other facets that aren't addressed when you just have to close. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So everybody else still wants their money, including you.
What's the best advice you give a small business owner?
Do what you love. Period. No matter what.
Right.
And it almost sounds cheesy or corny, but it really at the end of the day, it comes down to, if you wake up in the morning and you don't ever go, fuck, I gotta go to work. Right. It makes it so much easier. And then I think the realist advice over the cheesy advice would be, don't lie to yourself. Right? Write everything down. Don't tell yourself it's going to cost you 20 grand if it's really going to cost you 50 grand to open, because if it's going to cost you 50 grand, it's probably going to be 70 grand.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, that's the reality. So plan for the worst, because even though it might not be your reality, it could be your reality. And, you got to plan for the worst days, not the best days. The best days, it's easy. You know what I mean? Well, in a mentality.
Yeah, definitely. When it's going good, it's easy.
When it's going good, it's really easy, and it's easy to feel like you've done everything right, and sometimes that's luck of the draw. It's not even that you were necessarily right. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, be honest with yourself, and I think if you stay true mentally, that's gonna help you go a long way. Yeah.
What's it like running an Exhale smoke shop? You guys are downtown, downtown Sacramento, bro. I know it gets wild down there. What's like some crazy stories you have?
So, I mean, just from, I don't want to make it all about like, negative stuff, because there's been so many more positive things that go on at Exhale.
But downtown gets wild. So.
But right now we have a huge homeless problem. going on in our city.
Facts.
That's really going unchecked right now.
They
And
definitely need to do something about that.
they really do. And the crazy part about it is, in my opinion, I feel like store owners and gas station owners and people that have to deal with people day to day, you know, even people just work in stores, and you have these huge camps, you know, and just roaming people with mental issues, with drug addiction issues, housing issue, you know, just everything all the way down the chain. It's a crazy cycle that starts happening, because especially with COVID, and COVID really just kind of really made everything harder, because you can't just put people in jail, or you can't just take someone somewhere and have them looked at that easy because of restrictions and spacing because of medical personnel. That's whatever. But yeah, lots of fights, lots of, you know, we're right underneath the bar, so, you know, you got a lot. Crazy. You know what I mean? So it's just mixture of energies, and shit, we've seen cars flip off the freeway right there and had to go run out and help people, you know.
Yeah, you guys are like right by everything.
Yeah, right off the East Street exit, right across the street from a gas station.
Next to a barbershop.
Under a bar. Yeah, exactly. It's wild. It's definitely wild.
That's crazy, man. What makes you Sacramento proud?
The people.
Okay.
Yeah. People in Sacramento are rad. Like I said, it's that small, big town mentality.
Right.
You know, I grew up in a... Just hit the light. That was crazy. They turned off at the same time,
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we did. It's all good.
It's all good.
What makes you Sacramento proud?
Yeah, it really is just the people. Like I said, I didn't know anyone when I moved down here. It was just me and my wife. So going from knowing nobody to opening up a store to, you know, meeting my community and the people around me, and the people that just... the movers and shakers, you know, the people that support my business, and the people that go out of their way to, you know, come and support me. It really means everything. You know what I mean? All the kind words and all the, you know, just the thoughts, and, you know, literally people come in and they go, you know, I don't really need anything, but I know it's COVID, and let me just buy this real quick. Like,
shout out the community.
100%. $1, $10, $500, it don't matter. The thought, for real, it really does mean everything.
Do you think like it's beyond finances that could solve all the issues, or
all what issues?
Like in the world.
Man, I hate to say it, but money really is a good and bad thing, right? You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
I mean, we got people living the good life while you got people that aren't, you know, eating. It's right.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like I'm against making money or, you know, anything of that nature, because I'm not holding that against nobody, right? But it's just a wild concept just to think about, you know. You got these guys can't eat, these guys are whatever, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, it is I think it is a money, but I think it's also more a mentality thing. I mean, less narcissism, more thinking about others. You know, that's how I was brought up, at least. You know.
If you had
when I make decisions, I try to think about others around me, and it's not just solely about me. Not always. We always, you know, at certain points in life, you have to make decisions that are solely based off you. But during life, like as you're experiencing life with others, I feel yeah, you got to try to at least be respectful of the people around you. And I think if more people went just off that base mentality, no politics, no, you know, just be a little bit more, little friendlier to your fellow humans, you know.
Most definitely. If you had no financial cap, what would you do to help the community?
That's a great question. That is a great question. I think, man, I like I kind of touched on in the beginning, when I started Exhale and started letting my space out, right? I never did that as necessarily as a mentality to like be thanked for. Right? To me, it was always, it started off as a mentality of like, hey, we're two people, or we're two businesses, or we're two brands, and we want to work together in a matter that's free, that we can both kind of play off each other, you know, for like, you know, Instagram, or, you know, content, or for branding, or whatever the case may be. Man, I forgot where we were going. What was the question again?
If you had no financial cap,
that's that.
What would you do for the
yeah. So I think in kind of explaining that mindset, it really gets back to I didn't start off with that mentality of like, hey, I'm doing it for this like real reason, or to like help this person, or, you know, anything like that. But it's really formed into that, you know. And from what I've, you know, the 5 years that I've been in business, and, you know, I didn't go to business school or anything like that, so I'm just learning it as I go. I think more things like I'm doing here really is so very important, because I've had so many people thank me that a lot of the time in the beginning, it took me a really hard time to like process that, because I didn't really understand why people were so thankful to me, you know. But then the more you get into it, you realize that has nothing to do with me on some level, but there's just not a lot of spaces that allow venues like we do.
Not a lot of exhales around here.
100%, you know what I mean? So that being said, like I said, that aspect doesn't really have anything to do with me, but people are so incredibly thankful, because there's not so many of them that we do allow it, and people are very appreciative of that. So I think I don't know, music has always been an outlet, no matter what kind of music you like. It's an outlet for people, you know what I mean? No matter the music. So it's I think more spaces that would allow smaller artists that, you know, like Freestyle Fridays mentality, you know. The youngest artist, not aged, but youngest in experience artist could come there, spit 1 bar, spit 2 bars, and go and laugh and be like, nah, here you go. You know what I mean? And but that's that one first time they grabbed a microphone in front of a group of people, and you know, and then 2 months later, we've already seen it with numerous artists, right? A little shaky in the beginning, 2, 3, 4 months later, and you're like,
all right,
holding it down. You know what I mean?
Pass
like
him the mic.
He can, you know, he's gonna go out there and go crazy. Exactly. So there's probably be something like that, you know. I don't believe really throwing money at things is the solution, right?
Doesn't really help too much.
It doesn't help too much. I think structuring things that can help people for generations, you know, education's everything, man.
Most definitely.
And I don't mean like book smarts. I just mean like having someone around you that can unbiasedly say, try this instead of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've tried this. It's worked for me. Try this, you know, and then
give you some advice.
Yeah, and that's incredibly gratifying as well. You know what I mean? When people see you as a person that they can come up to and ask for advice because you have a business. You know what I mean? And again, that's not why I started business. But I have lots of these conversations that I've had to find myself being like, well, just so you know, I never made it to 10th grade. You know what I mean? I've never gone to business school, and I'm not like proud of that.
No, I get it.
But I am proud of that, just for where I'm at today.
Exactly.
100%. So, it's not something I'm not bragging, or you know what I mean. It's just one of those things.
Kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I think it's here, man.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I didn't really stick with school, but I'm still smart. I still educated myself. You know what I mean?
Definitely, bro. You don't need school. You don't need to be in school to get educated.
No, you don't. You just got to stay focused on like everything else, you know, and see what's around you and experience life. And again, be a good person.
Facts.
Like I base my life trying to just be a good person, trying to think about other people around you. A lot of my thought process starts there.
What's the best advice you've been given?
I think is what I started off with is just be honest with yourself.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Don't lie to yourself.
Right.
It's too easy to tell yourself you're doing something right just because you think it's, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I'm sure you've had multiple people tell you something before, and then, you know, the first person told you, and you're like, you come over here, and the next person tells you the same thing. You're like, damn it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
okay, I think I need to listen to this. You know what I mean? So it's like shit like that. It's just stay true to yourself, be honest, and work hard, you know, and do something that you love because that makes that all those other things that much easier.
That's tight.
Yeah.
So being in Sacramento for so long and being in the rapper world, how you feel about the Sacramento music scene right now?
So again, I'm still fairly limited. I mean, I've always loved hip hop, so I love hip hop, right? So but again, I'm only 7 years into Sacramento. You know, it's not really that long of a time. So a lot of time when I meet, you know, Nate Curry's, when I met Chewy the first time, I don't know who these people are,
right?
You know, but the beautiful thing to that is that you're meeting people without the same intention as a lot of other people around you. So to me, again, it's more real, right? If you don't know someone's famous and you start chopping it up with them for 30 minutes and then you go home, a little different. And you know someone calls you and you're like, bro, you were chopping it up with blah blah blah, and you're like, who's that? Right. But you just had the realest conversation that you could have. That exactly. If you knew that information prior, would it have maybe been as authentic? No, it wouldn't have been. So I really like those scenarios too, though, right? So it's kind of nice being the new guy, you know, meeting people just because it's a little bit more authentic in my opinion.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
like I said, I'm not going and checking out who people are before I allow them to come to Exhale. It's just like, you want to do a show? Okay, cool. Cruise through here. Let's figure out something that makes sense and then run it.
That's tight. Yeah. So, listening to hip hop, is that your favorite genre and stuff? What's the first CD you ever bought?
Let's see. I couldn't tell you the first CD I bought, to be honest with you. I just smoked too much pot. I know the first CD I ever got taken away was a May CD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, my mom for sure.
Oh, yeah,
and she told me I would get it back when I was 18.
Yeah, never got it back.
Bro, when I turned 18, it was like the first thing I asked for. She was like, yeah, I threw that shit away.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I was like, no, I like literally wanted that disc back, you know, because it was just like a memory to me, you know?
Yeah.
But like, grew up listening to Nas and, you know, East Coast rap big time.
Okay.
Yeah, big time.
What about the last CD you ever bought? You remember that?
I mean, no, because it's mostly just been streaming at this point. Yeah, I haven't. We used to burn. I used to burn CDs like crazy. So you know, it's like it did that whole illegal streaming thing, LimeWire and all that shit back in the day. You know, but that was also before like I knew artists and shit too. So like again, you know, you open a business and you start meeting people and you want to support their work, and that's the best way you could support, in my opinion, is buy and listen to their music. You know.
Knowing so many artists, have you ever been to like any shows besides the one they throw at Excel?
Yeah, so I mean, I've gone to quite a few different shows, whether they're at you know, some bigger names at Ace of Spades, you know, seen Burner, and but again, most of my experiences are kind of in my close knit group of people that I've really associated with over the years doing business with. So Freestyle Friday being one of them, all those guys, all the people that come, you know, to the events and things of that nature. So the circle has stayed small with the intention of growing bigger, just but I think again, it's just I'm not really interested in a weird way of like meeting people on Instagram that I don't know. I rather, hey, cruise over here to one of these events, shake my hand,
come see me in person,
you know, let's have a conversation, and you know, because I go a lot off vibes as well, you know what I mean, and it's a vibe thing, you know. I don't, you know, we got something going on here that we're trying to keep that ball rolling, you know.
In motion, man.
Yeah, and keep the energy up and high and positive, you
Facts.
know. So that's very important.
You ever been in any green rooms at any of these shows?
Nah.
No,
I'm not I don't know. I love music. I'm not really like
What you eating right now?
This is a little dish here from the boardroom catering. It's fire. This is some what is this? This is I know exactly what it is. Salami.
Nice little cheese, cracker,
Yeah.
meat, fruit, vegetable board from the board.
They got some candied nuts in here.
Yeah, go crazy.
Super crazy. Got some fruits in here. All sorts of different cheeses. Definitely fire. Lit.
But yeah, you haven't been in any green rooms or backstage any of these shows?
Man.
No.
No, I like buying a ticket and just sitting out front.
I feel it.
I'm not trying to be special. I'm not trying to bother people while they're performing and shit.
That's the best move.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just easier that way. Yeah.
I feel it.
Less stress for me too. I just don't want to bother people.
I get it.
I probably overthink it a little bit too much, but yeah.
So what's next for you in Exhale?
Man, I mean, since day one, it's just slow grind. You know, we're a bootstrapping business, which means the money we use to start Exhale is the money we're using to function, right? So there's no
real art meets function.
You know what I mean? There's no supplemental cash coming in from the side or from another bank account or anything like that. So it really is just like
Swiss bank accounts.
You know what I mean? Nothing crazy. So it really is just as we progress, as our group gets bigger of consistent customers and people showing love. We grow and grow. We've already added a 25 inset or a 25-foot inset case in there that wasn't there originally.
More glass going in.
Exactly. So it's just small progress year to year, and for the long. We're here for the long. Just built to survive. Thankfully, we made it through COVID, which is
a blessing.
Well, I mean, and it shows me that we can make it through a little some real hardships,
Facts. I think that too.
Because it was hard for everybody. It wasn't just hard for us,
Any small business that made it through COVID, shout out to you. That's just tight.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I appreciate you for coming through, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me.
That's another one.
Hell yeah, man. Have a good day.